French driver Esteban Ocon will miss the season-ending Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, with the 28-year-old foregoing his final race for Alpine so he can join Haas for the post-season test. It's understood that the bargain was struck after Ocon was out at the first corner in Qatar as a result of a multi-car crash that was caused by Haas driver Nico Hülkenberg. Alpine reserve Jack Doohan will take his place for a single race stand-in as proper preparation for his full-time drive in 2025. Qatar has upped its interest in F1, with confirmation its sovereign wealth fund has purchased a substantial minority share in transitioning F1 team Sauber, which will become Audi's work squad from 2026. It's understood that Audi's spending on F1 is unsustainable in light of an economic crisis at parent company Volkswagen AG, potentially involving plant closures and the loss of 30,000 jobs. The Qatar Investment Authority, or QIA's stake, rumored to be around 30% of Audi's F1 project, is reckoned to be worth hundreds of millions of US dollars to the German automarque. QIA subsidiary Qatar Sports Investments already owns Ligue 1 football club Paris Saint-Germain and Portuguese club SG Braga. Pressure is ramping up on FIA President Mohammed bin Sulayem, with news ahead of Qatar seeing more sackings, including steward Tim Mayer and race director Jeanette Tan. Mayer and Tan are the latest of 4 senior figures to have left the FIA in the last 2 weeks, with 4 others leaving in the last 12 months, as an alleged result of conflict with President bin Sulayem. They're not doing themselves any favors, said Mayer to the BBC. They are literally running out of people to do those jobs. F1's classic tracks continue to be safeguarded by the sport, with Monza the latest to be handed a 6-year deal extension through to at least 2031. F1 is in negotiation with a number of race promoters, given there are 5 events on the 2025 calendar, with contracts that end next year in China, Emilia-Romagna, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Mexico. Monza's recent upgrades and Italy's growing interest in the sport paved the way for its new deal, ensuring that the historic track, opened in 1922, remains on F1's calendar into the next decade. Monza is at the very heart of Formula One history, and the atmosphere each year is unique as the Tifosi gather in huge numbers to cheer on Ferrari and the drivers, said F1 Supremo Stefano Domenicali. Lewis Hamilton is no stranger to G-forces, but he went next level following the Las Vegas Grand Prix, with the 7-time world champion joining the Polaris program for some astronaut flight training. The initiative, set up by Mercedes sponsor IWC Schaffhausen, saw the Brit prepped and suited up for a 1-hour stint flying in the L-39 Albatross jet. Hamilton pulled a maximum of 7.5 G, more than astronauts experience on ascent, as part of a series of typical maneuvers, including accelerations and decelerations, to experience lateral G-forces.
I feel like you're just floating through the clouds. It's pretty unique, and came down and swooped through past the runway, which was kind of crazy. It was so close to the runway, and then pulled back on the stick and took off and went up. That was wicked.
Max Verstappen's race engineer Jean-Pierre Lambiase says that securing a 4th straight driver's title for the Dutchman in Las Vegas was a little bit more emotional than he was expecting. Verstappen won 7 of the first 10 races, but his RB20 car's dominance ended in Miami, forcing the squad to up its game to keep the Dutchman in contention through mid-season. And the normally stoic Lambiase, in a chat with official podcast F1 Nation, says that the pressure melted dramatically when Verstappen won his 4th title with 5th place in Nevada.
It is an immense relief, but also a little bit more emotional than I was expecting, actually. Both from Max on the radio, and I'll let Christian give him, well, let's say carry out all the complimentaries on the radio, because I choked up a little bit as well. And I think it just comes down to that relief at the end of what has been actually quite an intense year. Not quite as intense as 2021, but it at times ran it close.
Mercedes has admitted it's still flummoxed by its dominance in Las Vegas, where the squad scored its historic 60th 1-2 result and first since the 2022 Sao Paulo Grand Prix. The Silver Arrows topped every session in the entertainment capital, with George Russell taking his third career win, his first since Austria, with the Brit leading home Lewis Hamilton. But while Merc technical director James Allison says he was annoyed not to have predicted the performance upswing, he's determined to find out what factors caused it over the next few weeks.
We certainly didn't expect the sort of dominant performance that we showed. There could be lots and lots of reasons for it. You mentioned track temperature. It's an unusually cold environment, racing in the desert, in the winter, in Las Vegas. But there'll be more to it than that. Be more to it.
Williams team boss James Vowles says Qatar and Abu Dhabi, along with the post-season test, will be used for preparation for 2025, with the squad likely locked into 9th in the constructors' battle. Williams has endured a string of crashes in recent races, which meant it could not join rivals Haas, Alpine and RB in the fight for 6th place. But Vowles says the focus is now firmly on the future.
There's plenty of things actually we were testing already in Vegas, and we'll continue that on through these next 2 races. It's frustrating to be in this position, but also we have to be realistic about what's about now and what's about the future. And investing in the future will pay more reward.
Aston Martin sporting director Andy Stevenson says that the squad has let down team owner Lawrence Stroll with its current performance, given he's delivered everything they asked for and more. Aston Martin's technical director Dan Fallows was dropped from his role last month, given the Green Team's huge step back on results this season, compared with 2023's barnstorming podium fest. But Stevenson, in a chat with F1's official podcast Beyond the Grid, says the squad has since doubled down on its efforts to one day challenge for the Formula One World Championship.
We've let him down a little bit. Where we are now, currently, we're working on it, but I feel we should have delivered more for him by now, which we haven't managed to do, but we're working hard on it. But Lawrence, everything that he promised to us, he's delivered and more. I absolutely love working for him.
Sauber's Valtteri Bottas is the latest driver to be confirmed for next year's Race of Champions, set to be held for the first time in Sydney, Australia. Bottas, who is likely to rejoin Mercedes next year as reserve driver, will race Sebastian Vettel, Mick Schumacher, and 9-time World Rally champion Sebastian Loeb, with more to be announced. The Race of Champions will be held at Stadium Australia on March 7 and 8, the weekend before F1's season opening race in Melbourne. The last ROC event was held in 2023 in Piteå, Sweden, with the winner, local hero, 2-time DTM champion Matthias Ekström. Alpine Academy member Abby Pulling has again proved her credentials, with the Brit securing the F1 Academy title in Qatar last weekend. Pulling lifted the all-female crown with the final round in Abu Dhabi left to run on the back of an impressive campaign featuring 7 wins and 11 podiums. F1 is set to inspire the next generation of fans following the launch of its partnership with LEGO in Las Vegas last month. LEGO has previously worked with individual F1 teams for its sets, both big and small, but signed a new deal with the sport this year to take the next step in delivering a more inclusive solution. With new sets featuring all 10 teams to be released across its range.
5 to 9-year-olds. You know, what they're interested in is not just having the cars. What they're actually interested in is what happens around the race. And what they're super great at is they're very curious, they're very imaginative, and they want to play out their version of each of the races.
Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.